Hello, everyone. It is Monday night, and you know what that means. That means it is time for the Sunday Night League. We are here in the new year. It is 2026 now. Happy New Year to everybody who is watching the stream. We are here finally for the new season of GTE. It has been the better part of a year since we last ran this series. Last time out, Silent Wolf took the championship. And in the drivers, of course, but in the constructors, it was a tie on points at the end of the year, or at the end of the season, I should say. At the end of GTE last year, Punisher Firestone Racing beat Team Beast Mode on countback due to their one win at Daytona Road Course, of course. And meanwhile, Shadow Realm Racing, the Ferrari team, sat 40 points behind on that occasion, taking 4 wins with Silent Wolf on that occasion, who, of course, as I said, won the championship last season. But new year, new season, new drivers, in fact. It should be an interesting one. Now, before we get going with the stream, I would like to quickly run through our 2025 SNL End of Season Awards. At the end of every year, we do some awards, and I'd like to just run through those quickly so that the long-time viewers can have a quick reminder of who our award recipients this year. So hello to Rob on drums and everyone else in the chat. Let's get on quickly with those awards. So first off, we had Driver of the Year. That went to Bunnies9999. Bunnies taking Driver of the Year following 2 Formula X championships, the inaugural Endurance Series in Group 1 cars, and having taken 14 race wins in 2025, Bunnies was voted as Driver of the Year. Livery of the Year was given to Rob on drums for his recreation of the 1986 Benetton livery for Formula X. If you need a quick refresher, that was the green car with lots of white on the top, especially with some sort of colorful paint streaks going along the engine cover primarily. That was a lovely, lovely livery, and as such was voted Livery of the Year. Teammate of the Year was given to Ben for his great teamwork in both GTE and Formula X, with Rob twice last year. The Most Improved Driver was given to Bondimus, who went on to get his first podium in the Endurance, his first SNL podium in the Endurance season before getting his first podium in Formula X, and of course his first win later on that season en route to 3rd in Season 11. He is your Most Improved Driver of the Year. The Best Racing Moment of the Year, and after this stream I highly encourage you go back and watch this, the Best Racing Moment of the Year was given to the photo finish at the end of Season 11, Round 3 of Formula X at High Speed Ring, where Jam, Punisher, Ajax, Bondimus, and I believe Ben all were within mere tenths of each other, including, I believe, a 2,000th gap between Punisher and Jam. Jam, of course, coming out on top on that occasion. I highly recommend you go back and watch that stream after you finish this one. New Member of the Year was nominated to be Alpha Capri, who came in midway through Season 10 of Formula X, proceeded to claim his first podium in just a few races, and continued to prove himself a very, very quick member of SNL throughout the remainder of the year. We hope to see him back in SNL soon. The Commentary Award, of course, went to Jam. Everybody loves hearing Jam commentate, and hopefully we will have him back sooner rather than later. But for now, it will be me. Jam, though, does take the Commentary Award. Standout Performance of 2025 would be going to Bunnies for his domination of the Interlagos round in Round 2 of Season 10 of Formula X, where he pulled away from the main pack very early on and never looked back. And of course, finally, we have a special award, the SNL Lifetime Achievement Award, going to, of course, SNL Jam, who has stepped down from his leadership of SNL, entering the new year. Jam has handed it over to a small team of 4, but Jam, over the past few years, has absolutely done everything he could for SNL. It has been a wonderful experience. We would not all be here today competing like this if not for Jam, so for that, we say thank you to Jam. Hello, Slenderfella, in the chat as well. Now, that is all the awards we have for 2025, so I think it is about time we get going with the grid as soon as I do my quick audio check. Alright, everything seems in order, so let's get going with the grid. First and foremost, the first pole position, not just of the season, but of the year, goes to Cool Dude Boy, driving the number 86 Volkswagen. Cool Dude Boy is, in fact, the team principal for Ferrari, but also a reserve, driving in the place of Tiny Terror this weekend. So Tiny Terror, I dare say, will be very happy to see his livery starting the first race of the year in pole position. That is an excellent start for Cool Dude Boy in qualifying. Next up, we have the first of our new drivers. This is Wendigo, number 40, driving the Arc Raiders Ferrari. Wendigo, a very quick driver from Lithuania, as you can see the small flag there. Not a very big window to put flags on that Ferrari, but Wendigo puts it there nonetheless. The Lithuanian driving the Arc Raiders Ferrari will be an absolutely dangerous competitor. He is rapid, and proved it immediately with his qualifying result, putting him in second on the grid for his first ever SNL race. Moving on to third, we have Timosius, or Tamo, also a Lithuanian driver, one of a few that have joined for this season. Tamo is driving the number 53 Red Bull Ferrari. It'll be very interesting to see how he does. I believe both him and Wendigo drive in VR. Just a little bit of a fun fact for you there. So we will see what he can do. Going from third on the grid, we have so many new drivers and many unknowns with that. It'll be interesting to see. Next up, we have the Heinz Beans Volkswagen, number 57, fitting for a Heinz car. Aloe is driving that on this occasion. Aloe should be driving it on every occasion. He is the main driver, just to be clear. Aloe, 7/10 off pole, but that is more a testament to the speed of Cool Dude Boy, as nobody was even within 2.5 tenths of him. So Aloe, fourth on the grid. He'll be looking to go for a strong result. This is a qualifying that I think he'll be pleased with. That Volkswagen looks strong already. Our top 4 is 2 Ferraris and 2 Volkswagens, but the top 5 is a third Ferrari. It is our reigning Formula X champion, Bunnies, number 99 Speed Racer Ferrari, based on the Mach 5. He will be going from 5th on the grid. We'll see what he can do. Never won a GTE championship, despite being a 4-time Formula X champion and a 1-time endurance champion. Of course, in the LMP1s, though, not in the GT3s. So this is not the type of car he won his championship with. But a 5-time champion of SNL, we'll see what he can do starting from 5th on the grid. 6th on the grid is another one of our new drivers, another Lithuanian. It's Mauritius Tam. Mauritius is a very rapid driver. He is the first of our McLaren drivers on the grid. He will be looking very strong from 6th. Number 5. He will be one to look out for, without doubt. Next up is, of course, our reigning GTE champion. Here we have it. It's Silent Wolf in his Decathlon Renault. Let's see what he can do. 7th on the grid, not quite the qualifying he will have wanted, but on those Goodyear tires, he will be looking to make some progress at the start. See if he can gain a couple positions, maybe get up into the front few drivers, and from there, see if he can go on to get a podium or even the win. 7th is not the qualifying that our reigning champion will have wanted, but we know from last season he can recover. He is one rapid driver. Do not count him out, ever. And next up, we have Ajax. Starting in 8th position is our Beatles Beetle. Ajax, Yellow Submarine, Flying Glove. He's got everything on there Beatles related. And of course, a little Patrick Star decal on his car for his team principal, Pat. Always lovely to see Pat signing up as a team principal or a driver. Ajax will go from 8th on the grid today. Next up is Ben, our other reigning endurance champion. He is on 9th in the grid. He, on the other hand, did win his championship in these kinds of cars in a GT3. He did it in the Porsche on that occasion, the Porsche 911. He's in the Renault this time. Let's see what Ben can do, our reigning our reigning endurance champion. What can he do? The German will be looking to do well. And of course, the Swedish livery on the Swedish car on the McLaren. McLaren, not a Swedish brand, just a very Swedish looking car. Kaiser, the Swede, unsurprisingly, driving that. Number 3 goes from 10th on the grid. Kaiser will be looking for a good result. Good to have him back. He rejoined our racing partway through Season 11 of Formula X. Great to have him back for Season 11 of GTE. Next on the grid, we have Bloodraven. We haven't seen him since Season 9 when he drove for Gasman's Pizza Jaguar team, but Bloodraven, starting 11th on the grid, he had some strong results back in Season 9. He'll be looking to continue where he left off. I believe in Suzuka finishing 6th or possibly 7th or 8th here, or on that occasion, I should say. We'll see what Bloodraven can do from 11th on the grid. 12th on the grid, we get to Punisher, the second Canadian in a row. Punisher, now a longtime member of SNL, number 24 in that Renault Sport Renault. Very fitting to see just Renault on a Renault. And I have to say, I've not noticed this before. The sides of that rear wing look absolutely excellent. I love that design of the yellow and black with the white lettering over it. That is very, very nice. I think possibly an early contender for Livery of the Year in my mind. But number 24, starting 12th, let's see what Punisher can do. Next up, we have our second team principal driver. Of course, Cool Dude Boy on pole is a reserve, not a full-time driver. But this, on the other hand, is a full-time driver. This would be Jay Sutkus, or Mr. J, or Hoppity, depending on which username you are looking at. Number 83 in the McLaren, he is the team principal driver for them. The Lithuanian, starting 13th, will be looking to move up the grid, and I believe that is the last of our new Lithuanians. He should be, let's see if he can join his others up towards the front. Next up, one of the longest serving members of SNL, it is Rob on drums, number 42 in the Beetle, in the Volkswagen, a very, very flowery livery. Kaffer being the main sponsor on there, I believe. He will be looking... Oh, there's Grogu. We've spotted Grogu. Already found him. That's good news. Number 42, Volkswagen, will be going from 14th on the grid. He'll be looking to move forwards. Next up is another new driver, the Scotsman, this time, Secret. Number 37, starting 15th on the grid with, of course, the Scotsman driving with Scottish Water as his primary livery, or primary sponsor, apologies. He will be going from 15th on the grid. We'll see what he can do today. And our returning driver, it is Sarlek driving the number 8 Sim Lab Renault. Starts last on the grid, will the Brit, but a very rapid driver It will be very interesting to see what he can do on this occasion. Starting last on the grid, do not expect to see him there for long. Sarlacc, it has been a while. It is fantastic to have you back. Can't wait to see how you do. As Rob, thank you for clarifying, Kaffir is beetle in German. Very interesting. I would not have known that. My aunt might have known that. She knows German. I do not. So that is very interesting. So the Beetle, in a sense, we've sort of got two Beatles. We've got the Beatles, the band Beetle, and the Beetle, the German Beetle. That's not confusing at all. Thank you for that information, though, Rob. So, with that in mind, that is our grid for today. But Sarlacc, Secret, Rob on drums, Sutkus, Punisher, Bloodraven, Kaiser, Ben, Ajax, Silent Wolf, Mauritius Tam, Bunnies, Aloe, Tamo, Wendigo, Cool Dude Boy, and of course the absent Tiny Terror. Only one of them can be champion. All of them are going for it. Let's get the new year and the new season underway. The lights are starting. We have 3, 4, 5 red lights. The lights are out, and we are racing at Grand Valley. Immediately, Ben into the wall, and it is a fantastic getaway for Cool Dude Boy, who shoots away from Wendigo and Tamo. A lot, my goodness, a full grid, so many cars shooting into turn 1, but it is Cool Dude Boy who will get away in the lead. A very strong gap to Wendigo already, then Tamo. Then it is Aloe, and side by side are Bunnies and Silent Wolf. Silent Wolf on the outside. Can he hold the position? He cannot. Now he's side by side with the brother. It's Ajax. And Ajax on the inside, and there goes Ben down the inside even. Ben down the inside into turn 6. The hairpin makes it through mostly cleanly, and Ben is up into 7th for a moment, but Ajax is fighting him for it. Ajax wants that 7th position. He can't quite get it. Mauritius Tam down to 9th. Number 5 swapping down the grid just a little bit. He's side by side with one of his teammates almost. No, but Bloodraven and Punisher, though, the two Canadians fighting it out, and Rob goes down the inside of Bloodraven. Can he make it 2 in 1? Can he get down the inside of Punisher as well? Not quite, but he's going to have the outside line now on Bloodraven, who, using the inside, is able to sneak back up into 11th after only losing it for just a moment. Back up to the front, though, it is Cool Dude Boy who leads the way in that Volkswagen, followed by Wendigo, who sits very close behind him. Then it's Tamo. Aloe sits in 4th, but Bunnies is right on the tail of him. Silent Wolf not far off either. Ben, then Mauritius, then Ajax, Punisher, Bloodraven, Sarlacc, Kaiser, Secret, and Rob, as Rob goes a little bit off track, and Jay Sutkus in 16th. That is the back of the grid there. The two of them side by side, but Cool Dude Boy, we will see, lead the way to cross the line at the end of lap 1. He has led the first lap of the season. Wendigo not far behind as Bunnies gets through on Aloe down the front straight into turn 1. He makes it a Ferrari 2-3-4. Ferrari already looking very, very strong in this season. Silent Wolf sits in 6th, though. Let's go on board with him as he looks towards Aloe. He's a little bit further back than I thought, but look at the gap he has behind. If you look back, you cannot even see Ben until there. There is that green liveried car into turn 6 now. He leads the way in front of Mauritius Tam and Ajax, 7th, 8th, and 9th there. Ajax gets past Mauritius Tam. No, apologies. Mauritius Tam gets past Ben. How has he done that? Around the outside, though, of turn 7 and 8, he is through into 7th position. That is a beautiful move from the new Lithuanian driver. Ben will now have to defend from Ajax. That Beetle is going to be looking to try and get past Ben. Can he pull off the move? He's sitting there. We have 3 Canadians in a row here between Bloodraven, Punisher, and Ajax. There's a lot of Brits in this league, and there's a lot of Canadians, but bear in mind, somebody who has a British flag on the position tower, like Mauritius Tam, is not necessarily British. He is from Lithuania, of course, but I believe that just means that is where his console is from. Cool Dude Boy leads the way, but he is under pressure from Wendigo. That Ferrari is sitting very, very close behind here on lap 2. I think he will be looking to challenge what is actually his team principal for the lead of the race, perhaps down into turn 1. Cool Dude Boy leads the way. He actually looks like he may be safe, so maybe the slipstream not playing quite as big of a role as Wendigo would have hoped. Wendigo has to sit behind for now. Then it's Camo, Bunnies, Aloe, and Silent Wolf sits behind in 6th. Silent Wolf getting a little bit closer to the Heinz Beams 57 Volkswagen Beetle. Through turns 3, 4, and next up will be 5. This kink to the left is 5. Then it's a hairpin of 6. Down the hill, down the inside goes Silent Wolf, and that is a beautiful move from the Renault driver. Ooh, the reigning champion, though, gets a big snap of oversteer. Maintains the position ahead of Aloe. He is up into 5th position. He will be happy with that. He has made some progress off the line, starting 7th, of course, up into 5th. He'll want to keep moving forwards, though. Ooh, there's a big snap of oversteer there for Bunnies. That Speed Racer Ferrari not handling the way he will have wanted there. Losing some time, and Silent Wolf is now onto the back of him. Can he perhaps repeat the move into turn 6 on the next lap? We'll have to wait and see. We're only at turn 13 of this lap. Up at the front, though, Cool Dude Boy continues to lead away from Wendigo. Wendigo is not falling far behind him. These 3 drivers up at the front are all on soft tires, as we can see now. However, Bunnies in 4th is on mediums, and Silent Wolf is on softs. Look at that wear on Silent Wolf's Ferrari, or Renault, apologies, compared to, say, Tamo's Ferrari. The softs are wearing a lot faster on that Renault, so that is not going to be helpful for Silent Wolf at all. Those fronts already about halfway worn. The Mauritian driver is not going to be pleased with that. Behind him, Aloe sits on mediums. Mauritius Tam also on mediums, Ajax on mediums, putting some driver on the Lithuanian, putting some pressure on the Lithuanian, putting some driver on the Lithuanian. Thankfully, there are no cars stacked up on top of each other. Ben on hards. So Ben is starting on hards. That's an interesting strategy from the Renault driver. Could explain him perhaps having some early struggles in this race, but he gets the hards out of the way, and he can go full push for the rest of the race once he gets off those hards. It is Bloodraven and Punisher who has just picked up some damage. Let's see if we can see what happened here. Punisher into turn 1. Runs a little bit wide. Bloodraven down the inside, and it looks like a bit of contact there. Punisher goes into the wall, gets some damage. We'll have to see what the stewards think of that one, but a bit of contact there between the 2 Canadians, thankfully making it out almost unscathed for both of them. Nothing too major, thankfully, for either of them. Secret down in 16th, the Ferrari driver on mediums, trailing behind Kaiser on mediums in the McLaren. Hards for Sutkus at the moment. Mediums for Rob on drums, who's putting pressure on Sarlek, who's using softs. So Sarlek looking to gain some more positions probably on these softs, but by this time in lap 4, those softs will start to hurt. Hard to say how much longer he'll be able to use them for. Sarlek, though, has moved up about 4 positions already in this race. Punisher on mediums, Bloodraven on mediums, and putting some pressure on the hard tire driver of Ben. Let's see if he can make a move on the number 2 Renault, perhaps down into turn 14. We go on board with Bloodraven. Down the inside, wow! I thought he was going to be too far back, but he goes for the move and he pulls it off. That is a sweet move from the Canadian driver through on the British-German driver of Ben. So lovely move there as we move back up towards the front. What's the gap looking up at out front? Cool Dude Boy through turn 1 is looking pretty comfortable, it has to be said. Then Tamo behind, so that's an interesting one. They're spreading out a little bit towards the front of the field. The Volkswagen pulling away down towards the hairpin now as we get this beautiful view showing us the ocean. And then we snap back to the racetrack. Can't let the nature take your eye for too long. We have car racing to watch. It is Volkswagen, Ferrari, 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 Volkswagen up in the top 5. As a Lowy, that means has gotten back past Silent Wolf within the past lap or two. Silent Wolf had a rough time last lap. A 52.1 is not the kind of lap time he'll be looking for. And the Mauritian, struggling a little bit more, kicks up a little bit of dust on the outside of turn 10 there. The Renault driver having his difficulties, but is able to continue on. I suspect we'll see him into the pits at the end of this lap. Those softs just are not holding up for the Mauritian driver. He's got the Lithuanian of Mauritius Tam on the back of him, and I just want to say, we are so lucky to have these new drivers on the grid. If you look at them, Wendigo in second, Tamo in third, and of course Mauritius Tam in seventh. These new guys are proving very, very quick. And of course, there are some more new guys further down the grid who are yet to truly get the opportunity to show their melee. But they will be very, very rapid, I'm sure. Sutkis has pitted, so he's done on the hards for now. We'll see if he puts them back on later, but there is no obligation to. He is on the soft tires now, directly behind Secret, who has picked up a bit of damage. So Secret struggling a little bit here through the middle section of the lap. These soft tires should provide a lot of help to Sutkis here. We'll see if he can make the move. There is somebody in the pit lane, though. I'm wondering if my guess was correct. Was it Silent Wolf? It was indeed. So Silent Wolf will be taking those softs off. We'll wait for a moment to see what he puts on. Silent Wolf, the number 41 Renault. What does he put on, and where will he come out, of course? That's the other big question. Silent Wolf onto the hard tires. That's very, very interesting. Into 13th position. So Silent Wolf will have some clean air, provided he can clear Kaiser reasonably quickly. He's got a little bit of clean air before he meets with Kaiser, but I suspect he'll catch up to Kaiser before too long. This is the second time I've gotten a phone call. Well, okay, my phone has already stopped ringing. I got a phone call and it stopped ringing almost instantly. I have a weird tendency to get phone calls while I'm doing commentary. Rob on drums, though, in 11th position. Not far off the back of Ben. Those mediums should provide some decent grip for a few laps more. I would expect to see mediums taken somewhere between 8 and 10 laps. Soft 5 or 6 laps would make sense to me, so actually it's worth looking up at the front of the grid. What does Cool Dude Boy do at the end of this lap? His softs are getting quite worn now. He'll need to consider a pit stop sooner or later, and the two Lithuanians behind him will need to do the same. You could see Bunny's in the same shot for a moment. He is, of course, on mediums. I don't expect to see him pitting this lap. It's into the pit lane for Cool Dude Boy, for Wendigo, and for Tamo. And Bunny's, as expected, continues on in that Speed Racer Ferrari. Aloe, also on mediums, will continue on for another lap. Same with Mauritius Tam and Ajax. Ajax not too far off that McLaren now. I wonder how the Beetle is in straight line speed compared to the McLaren. He's not close enough on this occasion to go for a move, but he'll be looking to hopefully do so in the near future, I would imagine. Nobody likes sitting behind their opponents, so I can't imagine he wants to stay there. Rob saying, I tried like hell, but I couldn't get past Ben, so Ben clearly providing some good defense against Rob. And the two Ferrari drivers have gotten through on Cool Dude Boy in the pit lane. So both of them not refilling to full, while Cool Dude Boy does. So the team principal of Ferrari driving a Volkswagen down the inside of turn 4 gets through on Tamo. What a move. Cool Dude Boy, absolutely no hesitation, decides, alright, I need to get this done now. He does not want to see these drivers getting away from him. Now, Tamo and Wendigo have put on the hard tires compared to Cool Dude Boy's mediums. So that Volkswagen should have better pace for the time being, but it won't have the same longevity that the two Ferraris have on those harder tires. So it'll be very interesting to see what Cool Dude Boy does. And now as we're Cool Dude Boy almost looks down the inside of turn 12, thinks better of it in the end here on Grand Valley. Thought he was going to go for the move for a solid moment there. But I think with so many pit stops starting to happen, it's about time we explain the new tire rules for this season. So, actually, this cool dude boy is going to interrupt me with another attempted overtake, this time successfully, through turn 14, makes the move into the tunnel, through the chicane, and he is back into the net lead of this race. Next up on the road is his teammate, Rob on drums, and now if people could stop overtaking as I'm trying to explain the tire rules, that would be excellent. We are going to continue with the tire rules from the first endurance season, which is simply a requirement to use both all three tire compounds available at least once throughout the race. So as long as you have the hard tires on your car at some point, the medium tires on your car at some point, and the soft tires on your car at some point, you have completed the tire regulation. Now, the exception to this rule is, of course, if it rains. If the moisture gauge in the bottom left corner of your screen, right next to those tire graphs, or not graphs, but symbols, I guess, the bits that show what your tire wear is looking like, the moisture gauge on the left of that will show a little, if it shows any amount of moisture on the track, there's no longer a requirement to use all three compounds of tires. It is declared a wet race at that point, and you can get to the end on whatever tires you please. Now, there is only one race on the calendar this season that can rain, I believe. Our calendar this season is, of course, Grand Valley, as we are at now. Then it will be St. Croix for round 2. Round 3, we will head to the Nordschleife for a nighttime race where it can rain. Round 4, it is a problem that I'm blanking on what round 4 is. Apologies. Round 4 is Laguna Seca, so back to America for that. And of course, round 5, we will be ending out where F1 always ends out their seasons. We'll be ending out at Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. So, at the end of lap 8, beginning of lap 9, Bunnies leads the way, but still needs to take a pit stop. Aloe sits in second, Mauritius Tam in third, and Ajax in fourth. All four of these guys starting on mediums, still needing to pit. Bloodraven stays out, has 5th position at the current time in this race, but Punisher has just come into the pits off of his mediums, which releases Cool Dude Boy up ahead of Ben now as well, and into 6th position. So that is your net leader of this race, unless Bunnies has pulled out something incredible, then it should be Cool Dude Boy who leads this race in a few laps' time, when I imagine we'll see Bunnies pitting. Ben in 7th also needs to pit. He is on hard tires, started on those tires, has not pitted yet. Rob on drums will need to pit soon. He is on mediums. Wendigo on these hards, started on softs. He's going to look to navigate his way through this traffic. The Kaffir Beetle is proving difficult to get through on, and Tamo is putting pressure on his teammate now. The Arc Raiders Ferrari and the Red Bull Ferrari running in tandem right now, trying to get past traffic. It's not lapped traffic. There is no obligation for them to get out of the way, as Tamo has a whopping smack of oversteer, cannot quite, or does not quite spin, just about manages to save it, continues on. And I think what we'll find in this race is that with no fuel saving, I believe all cars can go about 9 laps. The Ferrari, 9 laps. The Volkswagen, 9 laps. The McLaren, 9 laps. The Renault, 9 laps. All of them can go 9 laps without any fuel saving at all. But, as we see here already, Bunnies is going for 10 laps, so there was probably a little bit of fuel saving involved in this stint for the Ferrari. Same with Aloe in the Volkswagen. In fact, if you look at his fuel compared to Bunnies and compared to Ajax, he has a lot more. I wonder if Aloe will even go for 11 laps. That would be a very impressive stint, if you ask me. Ajax is released into third as Mauritius Tam has taken his pit stop now. Off of those mediums, we'll see what he puts on now. The soft tires going onto that McLaren, so he should have a very rapid stint next. And of course, Silent Wolf on those hards is running a strong race at the moment. It was a tough qualifying, but gained a few positions. Those softs started to die out very, very early on in this race. He took a pit stop, put those hards on, He's running in 10th at the moment. We'll see if he can gain some more positions. The likes of... Oh, as that's Tamo off the track. What has happened to Tamo? The Ferrari driver was making a move on Ben. If we look back, Ben is still to the left of us at this point. He tries to go round the outside turns 7 and 8. Oh, a bit of a snap of oversteer. I wonder if there was contact there. I don't think there was, but we'll take a quick look. Back to the TV camera. Ben in that Renault. No contact. Oh, maybe. Nope, no contact as far as I could tell. Just a bit of a mistake there from Tamo. Collects Rob on drums a little bit. Oh, he's going to go down the inside of Rob on drums immediately. Round the outside now for turn 11. He's got the position back on Rob already. Very well done from Tamo. Rob on drums does have a bit of front bumper damage from that contact, though, after Tamo had his little incident there. So Tamo will be dropping off the back of Wendigo now, which is not good for him. Wendigo is trying to keep up with Cool Dude Boy, who has absolutely disappeared into the distance on those medium tires. Bunny's into the pits. Does Aloe? No, he continues. But Bunny's brother Ajax does go into the pits, though. Cool Dude Boy. We'll see where he comes out in comparison to those two. He should be well ahead of them. Bunnies will be more interested, I think, in seeing where he comes out in comparison to Tamo and in comparison to Wendigo. So Cool Dude Boy continues on, starts lap 11 into second position. That will be the net lead of the race soon, though. Or that will be the net lead of the race, of course, though. Bloodraven in third, still needs to pit. Wendigo in fourth. Ben 5th, Tamo 6th, 7th is Rob, 8th will be Silent Wolf, and 9th will be Bunnies. So Bunnies is going to be behind Silent Wolf, but Silent Wolf looks like he ran a little bit wide through turn 1 there. Let's go on board inside the car with Bunnies as he hunts down Silent Wolf immediately after his pit stop. He will be looking to see if he can pull off a move soon. And Silent Wolf, bear in mind, is on hards as Bunnies goes down the inside into turn 6. In the hairpin. Silent Wolf is going to look to fight this back, though. These two are champions of SNL. Neither will want to give this position up. Silent Wolf on the outside. Nothing he can do to stop Bunnies getting through on those fresh mediums, though. And Bunnies in the Ferraris up into 8th position. Rob on drums next on his radar. In fact, Mauritius Tam is going to be fighting with Silent Wolf now. Tam on softs. As apologies, I had to sneeze at a very inopportune moment there, as Mauritius Tam does get through on Silent Wolf. What a move for the McLaren driver. The number 5 gets through on the reigning champion. It is perhaps not Silent Wolf's day. Those hard tires are getting surprisingly worn considering they're hards, but I suppose we did see with that first opening stint, it looks like the Renault really cooks its tires. It's a big snap of oversteer there from Silent Wolf. An impressive save. Bloodraven into the pits now. Off of those medium tires, he brought them 11 laps. Aloe is going 12 laps on those mediums. Wow, that is impressive. Aloe is going to run a very, very long time on these mediums. Cool Dude Boy, his teammate for today, sits behind in second position. And if we look at Cool Dude Boy, he enters the hairpin now. And Wendigo enters it now. So that was a very small gap at around sort of the midsection of the opening stint, and even by the end of the opening stint, it wasn't a very big gap, but Wendigo on those hard tires is really struggling compared to Cool Dude Boy's mediums, so Wendigo dropping well off the back of his team principal. Of course, a bit strange to say that as Cool Dude Boy driving a Volkswagen, but we appreciate him filling in for Tiny Terror, who should be back for round 2 at St. Croix. Tamo in 4th position, so this is starting to open up into a bit more accurate to how we should expect this grid to really be. Most people have taken a pit stop. Ben has not yet. He's also going 12 laps. Aloe should be in at the end of this lap. I can't imagine that fuel can go another lap, although it's bloody impressive that he's brought him 12 laps already. As the Heinz Volkswagen into the pit lane. Ben will presumably do the same, but he's got pressure from behind from a Canadian and a Lithuanian. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, possibly, between Ben and Bunnies there. Mauritius Tam is going to be right on the back of these two. Can the McLaren driver? The McLaren driver is actually closer to the Ferrari than the Ferrari is to the Renault. Will go on board with the McLaren driver. Bunnies tries to steal a little bit of slipstream. Nothing he can do, though, as Ben goes into the pits. And Mauritius Tam is going to go side by side with him down to the start-finish line. He is through towards turn 1, but it's the outside line for what is really turn 2, as the non-corner left-hander of turn 1 is officially turn 1. This is technically turn 2, though I keep calling it turn 1, despite calling this turn 3. But Bunnies is back through on Mauritius Tam. These two running nose to tail into turn 6. Will there be an opportunity for Mauritius Tam on those soft tires? He's going to need to make that move sooner rather than later. Looks like he took his pit stop on lap 9, so this is his fourth lap on these soft compound tires. So Mauritius Tam is going to need to make this move before his softs start to die out, as Bunny's still on reasonably fresh mediums. Alohi has come out of the pits in 7th position. He's put on a set of the hard compound tires, so it'd be interesting to see how far he goes in this stint. He's only filled up to about 75%. Ajax behind him, his teammate, in 8th position. The Beetles Beetle following the Beans Beetle. The Heinz Beans Beetle. You guys really like your alliteration, huh? Beans Beetle, Beetles Beetle, the German Beetle Beetle. What's the 4th Beetle? Cool Dude Boy's in the 4th Beetle today. No alliteration there. That's unfortunate. No, that's still, I have to say, a beautiful grid this season. These liveries are fantastic, as Wendigo comes into the pit lane from 2nd on those hards, same with Camo, and Bunnies will continue into 2nd for now then. Mauritius Tam in 3rd. He's starting to drop a little bit further off the Bunnies. Bear in mind they were side by side here last lap, now probably about a second or two behind. So Mauritius Tam dropping a little bit off of Bunnies, not too far now though. Alohi in 4th is driving very, very well. I have to say, Alohi has already really put himself out there this year. Last year was a decent year, a few podiums for the Brit, but driving with that pink helmet, as always, the iconic pink helmet for Alohi. It was a tough year at times last year, but he's already proving himself very, very quick in this Volkswagen. I can't wait to see what he does not only throughout the rest of this race, but throughout the rest of the season and the rest of the year. His teammate Ajax, though, is not going to let him get away too easily. Ajax on the mediums compared to, of course, Alohi's hards. Ajax will be looking to see, hey, maybe I can catch up and make a move here. Wendigo in 6th. He is back, or no, apologies, not back onto. He is onto, for the first time this race, medium compound tires. Bloodraven in 7th, and mediums for Timosius in 8th. And I have to say, I think it's a little bit bigger of a gap than before between Wendigo and Bloodraven. Wendigo and Timosius. So that is very interesting to see. Those two Ferraris starting to spread out a little bit more. And we don't know exactly when Bunnies will pit, or Ajax, or apologies, Cool Dude Boy. But those two are the closest competitors of Wendigo and Camo at the moment. So if there's anybody to watch, it's Cool Dude Boy and Bunnies, if you're looking for who will be where in relation to Wendigo and Camo. Bloodraven, of course, separating the two, but has done one less pit stop in this race so far, I believe. So we'll see what Bloodraven can do from here. The Canadian driving a strong race. I did say he'd want to pick up where he left off at the end of Season 9, and he's doing precisely that, sitting in 7th position as it stands. A very strong drive so far from the Canadian. In Season 9, we saw an immense progression just throughout the season from him. First round of the season, he had a lot of struggles. By the last round, he looked much more comfortable, much more confident. If this is where he is at the start of this season, I'm a bit scared to see where he'll be at the end of the season, provided he has a similar sort of emergence throughout the season as he continues to improve, which I'm sure he will do. I'm sure he'll continue to prove. The question is, how much will he improve throughout the season? I suspect he'll improve a fair bit, but it's hard to say for now. We're only not even halfway through the first race, after all. So Tammo is going to go round the outside of Bloodraven with a better exit that'll put him on the inside line for 7 and 8. And he makes the move nicely, does the Ferrari driver, but Bloodraven looked down the inside for a split second, thought better of it. That would have been, I think, an unwise move to make, but he doesn't go for it, thankfully. No contact on this occasion. A very clean move from Tammo puts him into 7th position. Cool Dude Boy into the pits off the medium tires on lap 15. He did a soft stint, then he did a medium stint. He'll have to do a hard stint at some point during this race. I'm curious to see what tires he puts on this occasion. Might be the hards. We'll see if it's that. Maybe another set of mediums, maybe another set of softs. Mauritius Tan now off of the softs himself. Aloe coming out of the tunnel. He's got his teammate on the back of him. Could Ajax be looking for a move on this lap? From lap 15 on to lap 16, could there be a move for Ajax here? To the inside. Can he pull off the move? No. He has to brake much earlier than Aloe for turn 2. Aloe. Nice exit there, using lots of curb for both Volkswagen drivers, actually. Through 3, 4, and next will be 5. This little kink to the left is deceptively difficult. It doesn't look too bad when you're just watching, but to drive, it is impressively difficult at full speed, especially on older tires. So Cool Dude Boy out of the pits on mediums. He's taken the same amount of pit stops now as Wendigo and Tammo. We'll take a look at their gaps. It's looking pretty significant from Cool Dude Boy to Wendigo. It was a bit of a slide there for Cool Dude Boy. Makes it through all right, though. Wendigo behind, and a little bit of gap as well to Timosius. Bloodraven behind, then Mauritius Tan, fresh out of the pits onto a set of hard compound tires. Silent Wolf, our reigning champion, having a little bit of a rougher round here, was a bit wide on those mediums. Manages to wrangle the car in for turn 9 through 10. Oh, kicks up a little bit of dirt, and through 11. I think that Renault is proving to be quite difficult for Silent Wolf to handle. Ben, as well, is a little bit further behind him. Ben, of course, not a reigning champion of GTE, but is a reigning champion of Endurance. He will be the defending champion sometime later this year, I would imagine. I'm sure we'll have an Endurance season later this year. I should be clear, I don't know necessarily what we are doing for the entirety of this year, but I can't see us going the full year without an Endurance season. So we'll have to wait and see if we get that at some point. Punisher ahead of Rob here on lap 16. The Kaffer Beetle chasing down the Renault Sport Renault. Kaiser in 13th, Starlek in 14th, not too far ahead of Sutkus. So these two quite close together, the Renault and the McLaren, towards the back of the grid, and it looks like we have unfortunately lost Secret at this point in the race. I don't see a 16th position, so that means 3 Ferraris in the race. Bunnies leads the way, Wendigo in 5th, Timosius in 6th, so Ferrari still looking overall quite strong despite the loss of one of their drivers, and if you count the Volkswagen driver that is actually their team principal, they've also got 4th position in this race. So Ferrari looking very strong in many ways. So Bunnies leads the way here. I think we'll see him, judging by that fuel, I think we'll see him pitting in 2, 3, maybe 4 laps time. Speed Racer Ferrari looking good though. Through the final real corners, turn 15 and 16. Aloe is still under pressure from his teammate. We'll see if the Beetle's Beetle can get past the Beans Beetle. Heinz Beans. I like Heinz Beans. I think they taste very good. As Gazman commenting on the Mr. Bean in the rear window of Aloe's car, and indeed that is it's a bit terrifying to notice if you're just driving along and you look at the back of Aloe and you go, oh my god, there's a man staring at me. But Ajax, not thinking about the man staring at him, instead thinking about getting the 4 men on his car ahead of the man on the back of Aloe's car, down the inside of his teammate. Almost a bit of contact there, but it looks like they made it through without any actual contact. It was close, but the two of them keeping it clean. Aloe is going to have to sit behind for a moment now. He's going to be looking to try and get ahead of his teammate. 3 turns, 3, 4, and 5 into 6. Will he look to the inside? He does not. He's happy to just sit behind Ajax for now, but Ajax runs a little bit wide. Aloe hits his apex a little bit better. And he will be looking for any opportunities he could possibly find. And as I've also actually missed a couple of comments from before, Flower Power Beetle for Rob, of course, I have to say, actually, I'm a really big fan of Rob's livery. I do like those flowers. It's a very, I was gonna say it's a very flowery design, but that's kind of a given. It's pretty though. I like it. It's a very nice livery. Well done, Rob, on that livery. It looks really fantastic. I quite like it. And yes, Pat saying beam tires helping, or beam power helping tires apparently, and I have to agree. Aloe did a 12-lap stint at the start of this race, and that is very, very impressive on the mediums. 12 laps is difficult for those mediums to make. It's a beautiful grid, though, I have to say. And I do love seeing these different main sponsors. Speed Racer, the Beatles, Heinz. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that, but Sinar or Sinar? Somebody might have to tell me how to pronounce that so I don't butcher it too much. When to go with an Art Raiders livery. Demosius with a Red Bull Ferrari. I'm not sure the McLarens have title sponsors on this occasion. The McLaren's doing a bit more of a uniform look this season. Of course, changing up the colors, but a bit more, as I said, of a uniform look, which is very interesting to see always. It's good to see that, a united team in a sense, despite being largely comprised of new drivers. Originally, it was an entirely new lineup for GTE, as it was, of course, Mauritius Tam, Sutkus, Lynchimus was going to drive this season before unfortunately having to pull out, and we had another new driver who then chose not to race, unfortunately. Unfortunate for him, but we get Blograven and Kaiser in return for the 2 drivers who were unable to race. So as sad as it is to see Lynchimus not able to race, we always have fantastic people able to come in and take up those positions when we lose somebody. Mauritius Tam battling with Silent Wolf. Silent Wolf he's just looking everywhere. Can he find an opportunity? He looks left, he looks right. Can he find anything? Big snap of oversteer. What a save from Silent Wolf. He is really having to wrangle that Renault in, but it's not going to stop him. He goes down the inside of Mauritius Tam. Going to go around the outside now as that corner goes left then right. Turn 13, and it's around the outside turn 13 that he makes the move. Turn 14 though, Mauritius Tam is going to go into the slipstream. Can he pull out to the inside? Brake late. Not late enough. It's Silent Wolf who holds on to that position. The Mauritian through on the Lithuanian. What a move from Silent Wolf. Oh, it's a big, big, big snap of oversteer. He is fighting that car in every major acceleration zone. Silent Wolf. Wow. I mean, your arms must be getting mega tired making that amount of saves. Actually, I'm not sure if he's on controller or wheel. But if he's on controller, his fingers must be getting tired, because that is a lot of corrections he's having to make. If I had to guess, I'd actually say maybe he's on controller based on his inputs there. Hard to say. But we do have some fantastic drivers, both on wheel and on controller. And of course, we've also got some fantastic drivers in VR, as Wendigo in VR, and Tamo as well. And Bunny's not driving in VR on this occasion, but may be switching to VR later this season. Cool Dude Boy sits in second. Cool Dude Boy has gone past an Aloe and Ajax. I've missed that. When did that happen? Was that this lap? It was. So Ajax, or Cool, I'm not sure when he got past on Aloe, but Ajax, Cool Dude Boy, is almost... He's there. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the two of them, actually. And Ajax on the right-hand side of the track, and Cool Dude Boy able to get through on the inside of turn 11. It was messy, but he's through on his teammates and hunting down the Canadian of Bunnies. So Bunnies is in first at the moment, but being that he pitted on lap 10, I wonder if he'll... Yes, looking at his fuel, he'll be definitely in at the end of this lap. So Bunnies should be in at the end of this lap, which will, of course, release Cool Dude Boy into the lead of the race. Ajax in third, Aloe in fourth, Wendigo in fifth. The question now will become, where will Bunnies come out in relation to Wendigo and Timosius? Tamo has dropped off the back of Wendigo a fair bit. Bunnies into the pits now. Cool Dude Boy will usurp the lead of the race soon as he heads through 18 and 19 now. Number 86, that will be the number 54 as of next round, though, of course, as Tiny Terror will take his full-time seat. Ajax into the pit lane as well. Aloe stays out, on the other hand, in that Heinz Beans livery. Wendigo, apologies, I've just gone to Timosius. Wendigo in third. He will be ahead of Bunnies. Where is Bunnies? Bunnies comes out of the pits now. Where's Timosius? Camo on board with the Red Bull Ferrari. You can see the Speed Racer Ferrari up there. Bunnies has overcut Tamo. So Bunnies out of the pits now into fourth position on the soft compound tires. So we'll have to wait and see whether he can catch up to Wendigo then, who is of course on very worn mediums. So he will not be able to continue for too long now, I would expect. Cool Dude Boy, bit of a snap of oversteer though there, but leads the race strongly now. First place for the Volkswagen driver. Second place for the following Volkswagen driver, Aloe. Aloe is getting a bit low on fuel though. He'll need to pit soon enough. Wendigo in third. He'll usurp second before long, but I suspect, judging by the fact he has about 20% of his fuel left, he will have to be into the pits soon enough as well. Bunny's fresh out of the pits on an outlap. Then it's Timosius in fifth. Silent Wolf sits in sixth. I think he'll be in the pits soon, though. He has a similar amount of fuel to Wendigo. Mauritius Tam on hards, running a strong race in seventh. It is, of course, his debut race in SNL for the Lithuanian driver. Blood Raven in eighth on the hards. Ajax, fresh out of the pits on hards in ninth. Then in 10th on mediums. 11th for Punisher, currently on hards. 12th for Rob on drums, also on hards. Hards for Kaiser as well in 13th. Sarlacc on mediums, and Sutkus on mediums in 15th. And of course, secret and unfortunate DNF from this race. That is your grid as it stands about halfway through the race, as Aloe comes into the pit lane. Refueling now. 50% refueled. He'll refuel some more, but we'll go to watch the action. Looking strong for many of the drivers out in front, and of course, I'd say in the most Ferrari way possible, Ferrari is dominating this race, as they have second, third, and fourth, and their team principal leads for a different team. So there is, in a sense, a Ferrari in the lead, but in reality, a Volkswagen. The team principal of Ferrari stopping Ferrari from having a 1-2-3 as it stands. I'd say that's very fitting of a Ferrari. Silent Wolf sits in fifth. The reigning champion has been able to claw back some positions clearly. We'll see how many he will drop when he pits. I think he'll be in at the end of this lap. That Renault is really looking like quite the handful. I do not envy Silent Wolf in this race. That Decathlon Renault looks hard. Wouldn't want to be experiencing that, personally. Mauritius Tam in the McLaren, running in 6th position. We have such a strong grid this season. One of the strongest we've seen in a while. Ajax sits in 7th. Not too far ahead of Bloodraven. Aloy sits on the back of Bloodraven. We'll see if he can pull off an overtake soon enough. We go on board with the Heinz car, and he's already flying through down the straight. The Volkswagen Beetle, a very rapid car. That is not a sentence I ever thought I'd say. But the Volkswagen Beetle does indeed fly past the McLaren up into 8th position, hunting down his teammate Ajax. Chinnar is my understanding of the pronunciation, says Gasman. So the Chinnar Volkswagen. If anybody else, yes, Chinnar. I'm gonna go with that, and now it's Gasman's fault if I'm mispronouncing it. Oh, hang on. I think it's Kafer on Rob's car, which I believe I've been calling Kaffer. My apologies. Kafer, the Kafer Volkswagen. And Pat suggesting perhaps the McLarens are going through a bit of an F1 phase from about 2013 through 2016 when they just couldn't find any sponsors. Which, of course, they have an absolute abundance of now. They have an absurd amount of sponsors now. So clearly, they don't want to end up like that anymore in real life. But this is not F1. This is better. This is SNL. We have Cool Dude Boy in the lead. We have Bunnies in second with a new fastest lap of the race of 148.0. A very rapid time from him there. Mauritius Tam in third, which of course means Wendigo has pitted. He's on his outlap on mediums, down to 6th position, and Tamo has also gone in on to mediums. As Gasman has been drinking a little bit, it seems, not quite understanding the pronunciation of various words. Deleted those comments now, out of embarrassment it seems, but Cool Dude Boy leads the way in first. Bunnies in second is looking to hunt down his team principal. You could see just a little bit of movement off in the background of that shot. I believe that was Cool Dude Boy. Bunnies here, though, is looking to get past the lapped car of Sutkus. The McLaren will need to move out of the way with blue flags soon enough. Oh, as there's a bit of contact there, it looked like, actually. As Sutkus is off the track now. What has happened here? I think we'll actually go on to this view. Why don't we go... Oh, right. There's the right person. Bunny's on board with him, and he just smacks into the back of Sutkus, so maybe not the best bit of awareness there from Bunny's. Running into the back of a lapped car is not what you want to be doing. So Bunny's, that'll drop him back a couple seconds compared to Cool Dude Boy, and on a vital lap where he needs his softs to be giving him the biggest pace advantage possible against Cool Dude Boy. There's a yellow flag up ahead. I wonder what has happened. I can't find anything, but Sarlek, Bloodraven, and Ben are all in the pits. Ben comes out of the pits on mediums. Bloodraven on mediums. Sarlek will be refueling for a little bit longer, but we'll see what he comes out of the pits on. We'll see, where does Kaiser come out, or where does Sarlek come out in comparison to Kaiser? Kaiser past the pit entrance, past the pit exit, and Sarlek is done refueling. He's coming out of the pits now, but Rob on drums is through as well. Where will Sutkus be? I think Sutkus will not be particularly close to Sarlek. Will Sarlek have any lapped traffic to deal with, or moreover, will Sarlek be the lapped traffic? It doesn't seem like it, as somebody's gone round. Who has spun there? I could not... Oh, I think it's Rob. Oh, as Rob has gone straight on. What has happened to the Kafer? The Kafer Volkswagen. I think that's how he said it's pronounced. It is, yes. Oh, it just seems to break a little bit too late. Oh, right into the wall. Oh, and he loops it trying to get it going. Oh, a nice flick spin there, though, I will say. As Rob gets going again. So, not the turn 2 that he will have wanted, but Rob, quite nice flick spin to get it going again. And Starlek, who was thinking, oh man, I've come out of the pits behind Rob on drums, jumps up to 13th, as I was apparently not supposed to see that Gasman said he had been having a bottle of wine, or a glass of wine, or whatever it is he said he was having. I believe it was wine. I just don't know the amount. Bunnies in first, though, leads the way as it stands. He will be pitting soon enough, surely. Those softs are looking pretty worn, and his fuel is not looking like he has a huge amount of it. Cool Dude Boy, coming up to turn 6 now. We'll see where he is in comparison to Bunnies the next time he pits. Cool Dude Boy still has not run a set of the hard tires. Neither has Bunnies, though. So these two still have to run a set of the hard tires, and presumably another set of the mediums as well. Aloe sits in third, and it has been such a fantastic drive from him so far. I think Aloe can be very, very proud of himself, even if, we'll see how the final 15 laps go, but the first 25 have been brilliant from Aloe, sitting in third position now. Ajax on hards has Wendigo on mediums directly behind him. And those turn 1 marshals must have seen a lot. Didn't even flinch at the incoming Beetle, and I have to say, nerves of steel. That is what the marshals in this game have, because I have seen them just sort of shifting their weight to the other leg and just doing whatever after watching me nearly flip over the guardrail into them. They really do not care. The marshals, I have a lot of respect for the marshals in this game, as well as the photographers. It was pointed out to me that there's a cameraman there's multiple cameramen standing on high ledges above this track. They're not even crouching. They're not lowering their center of mass or anything. They're just standing there, holding cameras right next to a track. One gust of wind and they're on the track. But they have nerves of steel. They don't care. As Wendigo is going to look for a move into turn 1 and 2 here on Ajax. He's going to have to go to the outside. Can he make the move on Ajax? Nothing doing here. Onto the gas, down the hill. Can he perhaps look for a move into turn 6 through 3? He's going to have to sit behind. He's looking for it in turn 4, but nothing doing here. He might set it up for 5 and 6 now. To the inside. Can he pull off the move? Down the inside. Ajax breaks late. Does Wendigo break later? He does just about muscle his way through. Wendigo pulls off the move. Ajax is going to look at the inside, though. Surely on those hard tires he can't pull off anything. Through 7, 8, 9, 10 now, and 11. No, he seems to be thoroughly behind Wendigo now. So Wendigo muscles his way back up into 4th. He'll be looking at trying to catch Aloe now. On very similar mediums, both in terms of fuel and tire wear. We look up to Bunnies. He is coming into the pits now. So Bunnies off of those soft compound tires. Cool Dude Boy through turns. It's 15 and 16 now. The Chinar car. I keep having to check the pronunciation of that. The Chinar car is, of course, flying down the front stretch now, as Bunnies is done refueling already. Only about 40% in the tank. We'll see what tires he puts on. He puts the hard tires on, and is only a few seconds behind Cool Dude Boy. Look at that. That is not a big gap between that Mach 5 inspired Ferrari and the Chinar Volkswagen Beetle. That is going to be very, very interesting. Something to watch. This may be the story to watch in the closing stages of this race. As we can see there's Cool Dude Boy just on screen for a split second as Bunnies going into the hairpin. These two are not very far apart. If I had to guess, only about 3 or 4 seconds apart. Aloe is actually not hugely far behind either. So Aloe could still be in this as well, although I think... it's hard to say what Aloe's strategy is. He's going a lot longer than many of the other drivers are. So it'll be very interesting to see what he does. Wendigo, though, very strong pace right now, setting low to mid 49s in the previous couple laps. And before that, a 48.4. Those mediums are looking strong for him. Ajax in 5th. On those hards, I think he'll just be begging to take those off as soon as he possibly can. I can't imagine those hards are overly pleasant to be driving on. Tamo on mediums is looking to hunt down the number 12 Volkswagen Beetle. But the number 53, we'll see what he can do in that Red Bull Ferrari. Silent Wolf running a quiet 7th position. Mauritius Tam not too far off the back of him in 8th, but not really putting any pressure on him for the time being. We'll see if that changes, of course, but for the time being, Silent Wolf in that number 41 had the option of running the number 1 this season, chose not to. Silent Wolf sits in 7th position. A bit of a snap of oversteer there. And of course, we have reached sunset. As we can look out across the ocean at the sun and just look at that beautiful sky, the reflections off the water. We really are very lucky to get to have such a scenic track on the calendar. And look at those clouds. It is just beautiful scenes. The drivers will hardly have the time to notice that. They've just got to be pushing, especially those in close battles. These 4 up at the front, all close to at least one other person at any given time. They won't even have that much time to sort of look out and go, wow, I mean, look at that sky, look at the colors, the reflections on the water. No, they have other cars to focus on. They have to hit their apexes, but as viewers, we get to see the beauty of these cars. I mean, look at that Decathlon Renault. That is a beautiful car. We can see it sliding around, actually. We can see it driving around. Then you go to Punisher and you just see like that view. It's beautiful. I think it's fantastic. I'm really glad that we get to see this sunset driving. That is one of the best traits of this track, if you ask me, is the view. So, Cool Dude Boy leads the way at the end of lap 28. Entering lap 29 now. He's got lapped traffic directly behind him in the form of Kaiser. Behind him on track is Bunnies. Bunnies looking to hunt down the Volkswagen. The Volkswagen, of course, on mediums. Cool Dude Boy on mediums. Bunnies on hards. And getting low on fuel already. Of course, he only fueled up to about 40, 42, 43%. So he's not going very far on this stint. I would guess he'll be pitting on lap 30 or 31. As Kaiser makes a mistake at turn 6, goes off the track. And Wendigo now putting a lot of pressure on Aloe. So Aloe is going to be faced with the challenge of a new driver. Of course, when you race one driver for a long time, you sort of get a little bit used to how they race. You'll get used to, okay, maybe they're better at these kinds of corners compared to these kinds of corners. They make, this driver makes slightly more audacious moves than this driver. That kind of stuff. You start to get used to who you're racing a little bit. You can start to predict them a little bit better. But then you end up with a challenge like this. Aloe and Wendigo, as far as I'm aware, have never raced against each other before. So Aloe will have no idea what to expect from Wendigo here. As Wendigo decides that this is where he wants to go down the inside, he makes the move, a very, very nice, just sliding down the inside kind of move. And the number 40 Ferrari is through on Aloe. Tamo will be wondering, can I follow my Lithuanian compatriot? Can I follow my teammate through? He's a little ways back from this group. Aloe exits the tunnel as Timosius enters it. A bit further back, we have Silent Wolf. It's interesting to monitor how close behind him is Mauritius Tam. McLaren driver can see Silent Wolf. He's right up there. The question is, can he catch up to him? Silent Wolf through that final corner. Out of view for a moment, back into view. Mauritius Tam is going to want to make a move if he can. Ajax on his outlap on soft compound tires, so this should be the fastest stint of the race for Ajax. But he's starting properly now. His first flying lap. Let's see how he navigates the first couple of corners here. Through turns 1 and 2, goes to about the middle mark of the circuit. Throughout most of that corner, opens up the exit nicely, about halfway into the center of the circuit to line up turns 3 and 4. Manages turn 5 nicely, gets to the outside for turn 6, hard on the brakes, get to the apex, use that downhill to guide your car along, large swooping exit down to 7 and 8. This is a double apex left-hander. It's a tricky one. You kind of cut across the gravel sometimes a little bit there at 9, now 10, and get to the outside for 11. Flick the car in, and the Volkswagen Beetle is managing this nicely on those soft compound tires. It says Yellow Submarine on the hood, but this handles anything but like anything but a submarine. It is nimble, it is quick, it doesn't have the downforce of a Formula X car, which is of course where Ajax is a previous champion. Season 9 of Formula X he was the champion, but never won a championship in GTE. He has won a race. Season 9, round 1. Ajax was the winner of that race. Let's see if he can complete that task again later this season. It's not looking good for this race if he's going to try and win. Sitting in 8th position, and as he is about to finish his lap, Cool Dude Boy is at about turns 9 and 10. So not looking good for Ajax to win today, but we'll see if he can manage it on a later occasion in this season. Wendigo sits in 2nd. That means Bunnies has entered the pits and exited the pits as well. He puts on mediums. 10 laps to go. That should be Bunny's last pit stop of the race. And depending on where Wendigo comes out when he pits, it could be Bunnies in 2nd trying to hunt down Cool Dude Boy, who has looked nigh unstoppable since the start of the race. If you think back to Season 10 of GTE, Cool Dude Boy was full-time that season, driving for Ferrari on that occasion, along with Silent Wolf, Tiny Terror, Crispoo, and Cool Shark, I believe. It was a rough season for Cool Dude Boy. I'm not sure he even got a podium. He had a tough season. Lots of midfield battling, which is always excellent to see, of course, but he couldn't quite bring himself up to the front of the grid that season. Now, he comes here, a reserve, the Ferrari team principal, driving for Volkswagen, and lap 1 through 32, he has utterly dominated this race. The closest anyone has been to him was Wendigo right in the opening couple of laps, and Bunnies throughout his hard stint. At the beginning of his hard stint was only about 3 or 4 seconds behind. Cool Dude Boy looks comfortable right now. There are 8 laps to go. He has not run the hard tires yet, as Crispoo is in the chat. Lovely to see you, Crispoo. It's a shame you're not racing this season. We always love to see you on track, but it's nice to see you in the comments as well. I hope you have been well. Yeah, it's always great to see Crispoo in the chat, a long-time member of SNL. I remember when I first joined SNL, I did both Porsche Cup and Formula X, and in Porsche Cup, Crispoo was always one of the drivers that I would look to, and I think, okay, I want to get faster, I gotta figure out what he is doing, and I gotta try and replicate it, because him, I believe it was especially Crispoo and Fast Guy. Those two, a Fast Guy lived up to his username, and Crispoo was right there with him. As Cool Dude Boy flashing his lights at Sutkus, making it known, hey, I am here, I am lapping you. Sutkus does a good job to get out of the way. But Crispoo, a very, very rapid driver, and hopefully we will see him back in SNL before the end of the year. I've no idea if he has the opportunity to rejoin SNL before the end of the year, but if you can, Crispoo, you are highly encouraged to do so. Aloe sits in 2nd. He's getting a bit low on fuel. I wonder if he'll be able to go one more lap on this set of mediums, or if he'll have to pit at the end of this lap. Those mediums are not looking pretty either, though. Let's take a look to see what does Aloe do come the end of lap 32. Is it pits? Is it not? It is not. He continues on for one more lap. As his fuel indicator flicks into the red, I suspect he'll be hitting. Excuse me, at the end of this lap. Matter of fact, I suspect so will his teammate, Cool Dude Boy. So come the end of this, do not go away from this race. Come the end of this lap, Cool Dude Boy will enter the pits, and we will see where does he come out in comparison to Bunnies, who is just ahead of his brother Ajax. Mauritius Tam into the pits. Bunnies just ahead of Ajax. Ajax will look to see if he can make a move into turn 1 here on those soft compound tires, but they're getting a bit worn. He looks to the inside. Bunnies comfortably ahead in the Ferrari. A little bit of a slide through turn 1, but overall pretty stable. As Chris Boo saying, he'll try to jump back in soon, and I can't wait for that if you do. Of course, take your time. Real life takes priority, unfortunately, over SNL. I'm not saying it should, but it does. So, as Wendigo has taken his final pit stop, though, into the hairpin of turn 6, he is behind his teammate. So Wendigo is looking to be a net third in this race, as I heard some tire squealing, I thought. Not sure quite what that was. Might have been Sutkus over there, as we can look over to the side from the Speed Racer Ferrari. Number 99, number 12 following close together, but number 40, Wendigo, is not far behind. Wendigo will be looking, he'll go on board with him, just into this sort of side view. You can see Ajax there, and as we turn the corner in a moment, Bunnies, there he is. There's Ajax going through the corner, and now it's Wendigo. He will be looking at these two. His teammate is one of them. Wendigo will be eager to establish himself as the number 1 driver in this team. He will be looking to try and catch up to Bunnies. Cool Dude Boy in the pit lane. This is his final pit stop of the race. He is putting on hard tires. Indeed, he does. Onto hards, 80% fuel. He is out of the pits, and he is looking comfortable. Where's Bunnies in comparison? Bunnies, about 10, 12 seconds behind, maybe even a little bit more. We'll be able to compare at the end of this lap exactly how far behind he is. But Bunnies is pretty far behind Cool Dude Boy. It's going to be a tall order to catch up to him, but he is the main competitor now. Who can pull off the win? These two, both Formula X champions. Cool Dude Boy is, of course, an ex-champion of GTE, the Season 6 champion. Cool Dude Boy is looking strong at the beginning of this race. Season 6 GTE champion, Season 5 Formula X champion. Cool Dude Boy is one strong driver, and he is putting himself in a good position to win this race. Can we see the Chinar Volkswagen on top of this race? Tiny Terror will be seeing this. He'll be thinking, oh, this is magnificent, seeing his own livery, his own car up at the front. Ooh, it's a little bit of a moment for Cool Dude Boy as he just skims the outside wall on the bridge. These two drivers on the bridge at the same time. Bunnies hunting down his good friend Cool Dude Boy. His brother behind him on very, very worn softs. Surely this will be the last lap on those softs for Ajax. Ajax surely has to pit on this occasion. Wendigo not far behind. He'll be looking to catch and pass Ajax, or perhaps maybe just get some slipstream off the back of Ajax and have Ajax pit at the end of this lap. Let's go on board with Wendigo, see how he navigates the end of this lap and the beginning of the next. Ajax is indeed into the pits, so Wendigo is released into third. Not only is that on-track third, that's net third as well. So this is looking like Wendigo looking for a podium in his debut race. Aloe sits behind him in 4th position. 5th is Tamo. A little ways behind, actually, as Aloe enters turn 6. Tamo is going through turn 4 now. Aloe not hugely far off of Wendigo, but Wendigo's got a solid gap. It's not a too big of a gap between Wendigo and Bunnies, though. These two Ferrari drivers showing good pace. And as it stands, as I said earlier, in the most Ferrari way possible, Ferrari have a sort of a 1-2-3, but in reality just a 2-3, as it's their team principal driving for a different team, leading the way, stopping Ferrari from getting a 1-2, which, if I had to guess, I would say would probably be one of, if not the first 1-2 in GTE, if they were able to pull it off. I'm not sure. Season 3, there was a very, very strong lineup in Bunnies, Illusion, and Silent Wolf, I believe, in the Mercedes. So Season 3, Bunnies had a rough season that season, but Silent Wolf and Illusion were very, very strong. Illusion was champion come the end of that season, actually. So that was a very strong lineup. They may have had some 1-2s. I'm not certain about that, but they may have done. So it may not have been the first 1-2, if not for Cool Dude Boy, but at the moment, Cool Dude Boy's looking like it's not even, he's going to make sure it's not even a win for Ferrari. So we've got the Käfer Volkswagen right there in front of Bunnies, that Flower Power livery, flying along into turn 6, running 13th in this race. Kaiser sits in 15th, 14th as it stands is Sutkus. 13th is Rob on Drums. Sarlacc sits in 12th, having gained about 4 positions from his starting spot. The Brit is looking at a reasonable return. This is a strong grid. Finishing high up is pretty tough. Sarlacc, especially on his first race back after several seasons out, I would say is doing quite well as it stands. Punisher in 11th. Running behind Bloodraven. These two Canadians have seemed to be quite close together many, many times throughout this race. Ben sits in 9th, Mauritius Tam in 7th, having just got past Silent Wolf. Let's go back and take a look at what happened here. Down the hill, Silent Wolf sits ahead of Mauritius Tam for now, but Mauritius Tam has much better tires. Is he going to look down the inside, perhaps, into turn 6? He does. It's a late move, but it is a beautiful move. On the inside, can he get the traction out of the corner to be ahead of Silent Wolf? He can indeed. Silent Wolf's going to have to tuck in behind him through 7 and 8 now. Nothing Silent Wolf can do but try to line up something for a later opportunity. A bit of a snap of oversteer there. All we've seen all race long is Silent Wolf. He's had solid pace, but he's just been struggling to keep that car facing the right direction the entire time. We've not seen him actually spin yet, but he's been very, very close a number of times. The gap from 8th to 9th is pretty humongous, though. I would say we've got a clear defined top 8 in this race, and it's a strong top 8 at that. Cool Dude Boy from Bunnies, from Wendigo, Aloe, Tamo, Ajax, Mauritius Tam, and Silent Wolf are the top 8. That is a beautifully strong top 8. And that is not, let's not forget the skill of those behind as well. Ben is the reigning endurance champion for GT3. Bloodraven is strong, and we will see him continue to improve. Punisher got his first SNL podium last season in Formula X towards the end of last year. Sarlacc, one of the stronger drivers SNL has seen. Of course, coming back for the first time in a while, so not at his strongest, but for a long while was very, very strong. I believe he won an award a few years back relating to that, about not having a championship, but it being a miracle that he didn't, because he was just so rapid. Rob on Drums, one of the longest-serving members of SNL, also got his first ever FX podium very recently, towards the end of the last year. Sutkus, another Lithuanian driver, we've not seen much of him yet, but that number 83 I would expect to see going closer to the front of the grid soon enough. He does seem like a very rapid driver, and he's come in with some very, very fast friends. And of course, Kaiser. Kaiser has such an underrated resume in SNL. He's constantly there. He's always there. He's quiet. There's the occasional mistake or two, but his absolute raw pace is very strong. Kaiser is going to be up towards the front of the grid soon enough, mark my words. We have 3 laps to go, including the one Cool Dude Boy has just started, and the gap to Bunnies is getting ever closer. Bunnies is not falling off of the back of Cool Dude Boy. In fact, he is only getting closer. We can see them in the same shot. We go on board with Bunnies, and there's Cool Dude Boy. It was a bit of a moment going over the dirt in turn 5 through turn 6. There's Cool Dude Boy. He's not going to want to let him get away. He's ahead of Rob on drums now. And, of course, Wendigo, not that far off. If Bunnies can catch up to Cool Dude Boy and there were, say, some contact between the two of them, Wendigo would be in a prime position. As a thank you to Cool Dude Boy for checking that there has never, in fact, been a 1-2 for any team in GTE. So I wonder if this season, given the strength of the lineup of Bunnies, Wendigo, and Timosius, I wonder if this could be the first season we have a 1-2 in GTE, which would mean, of course, that Ferrari becomes the first team, is the team to get the inaugural 1-2 in both GTE and Formula X, should they be able to pull it off this season in Formula X, as Season 4, Round 1, Illusion and Intulu got a 1-2 at Dragon Trail in Formula X, way back on GT Sport. And that was the first ever 1-2 in Formula X. I believe that was Cool Dude Boy's debut SNL race, so a little interesting stat to add on to his stat. And Cool Dude Boy looking to deny Ferrari from a 1-2. 2 laps to go, and these two are getting ever closer. Only about 2 seconds separate the two drivers. The Brit and the Canadian. The Lithuanian, not far behind, only about 4 seconds off, sits in third. It was a bit of a moment there for Rob on drums. That turn 1 is not treating him very nicely. Wendigo, down the hill now though. That Arc Raiders Ferrari, a lot of headlights on that thing. I think he's got more headlights than his teammate does, actually. Indeed, Bunnies seems to only have the regular 2 headlights. Wendigo's given himself about 5. Apologies, that's 6 of them. Wow. Aloe running a very, very strong race right now, ahead of Tamo, and looking comfortably so. Those soft tires are looking pretty old. I think those will be hard to manage for the last lap and a half. But Aloe running a very, very good race. And I think one that he can be very proud of in that number 57 Heinz Beans Volkswagen. Ajax sits in 6th. No pressure in front or behind. He's got pretty significant gaps in either direction. Mauritius Tam, another debut driver, sits in 7th, and of course Silent Wolf in 8th. Silent Wolf is dropping off the back of Mauritius Tam. Can't really blame him with those mediums. They are being absolutely chewed through by that Renault. Ben on softs is going to be coming out of turn 1 and 2 now. Down towards turn 3, down the hill, Bloodraven not far behind, and Punisher certainly not far behind him. This 3 traveling not too far apart. Especially these 2 Canadians. They seem a little bit closer than, well, actually, hang on. I'm not sure. As I say that, I'm not convinced Bloodraven and Punisher are actually closer than Bloodraven and Ben. Either way, the 3 of these guys, not quite within striking distance of each other, but all within close enough distance that there will be a bit of pressure, as it is now the final lap of the race, down towards turns 5 and 6. It's Cool Dude Boy and it's Bunnies. Lap 40 of this race, the Chinar Volkswagen, the Speed Racer Ferrari, who will come out on top. The gap was about a second at the beginning of this lap. I think it might be a little bit less now. Wendigo not far behind either of them. These 2 are going to battle it out. Can Bunnies get close enough to make a move come the end of the lap? It's not going to be easy for him, but he'll see what he can do. Cool Dude Boy leads the way through turns 12 and 13 now. Bunnies sitting behind, tries to take a bit of a wider entrance into turn 13, open up the corner on the bridge. He will be within slipstream, only a couple corners to go. Wendigo on the bridge as well. Aloe still sitting in a strong fourth. Those softs are looking dead. Thank goodness for him. It is the final lap of the race. Cool Dude Boy through turns 15 and 16. Those are the last real corners of the circuit. He's a little bit wide on the exit. Bunnies is in the slipstream. Bunnies through 17, 18, and next will be 19. Is going to be trying to catch up, but he's too far back, surely. Even with the slipstream, there's nothing he can do. It's a reserve win for the second time at Grand Valley. It's Cool Dude Boy who takes home a stunning victory for Volkswagen. What a win. It's second only for Bunnies, and on debut, Wendigo takes home third. Aloe and the Heinz Volkswagen takes fourth. Tamo on debut, he's gonna come home in fifth. It's 3 cars in the top 5 for Ferrari, 2 in the top 5 for Volkswagen. Matter of fact, it's 3 Volkswagens and 3 Ferraris to complete the top 6, as Ajax is going to come across the line to take 6th for the first race of 2026. Mauritius Tam, the top McLaren of the race, comes home in 7th. It's Silent Wolf, the reigning champion, a disappointing 8th in the inaugural race of 2026. Way back now to Ben, that top 8 was such a strong group. Bloodraven right on the back of Ben. It's another drag race to the line, this time a Renault and a McLaren instead of a Ferrari and a Volkswagen. Who will come out on top? It is looking like Ben is going to be safe, but I think Bloodraven is a bit closer to Ben than Bunnies was to Cool Dude Boy. It's looking good for Ben, who comes home in 9th, 10th for Bloodraven, and 11th for Punisher. As he comes across the line, Rob on drums came home in 12th, 13th for Sarlacc, 14th for Sutkus, 15th for Kaiser. What a race. As I believe that's our top 3 all in one shot there. Oh, that's a fantastic view. Oh, wait, no, don't go into the photo mode. That's not what I wanted. That is a beautiful view, though, it has to be said. It's actually side by side, the top 2, and, of course, Wendigo right behind. So that is your top 3 in one frame there. Cool Dude Boy comes home victorious in round 1. Let's see if I can get back to that first camera view. There we go. Cool Dude Boy, the reserve for Volkswagen, the team principal for Ferrari, comes home victorious in round 1, making it the second time we've raced here in GTE and a reserve has won, as back in Season 6, RS Binko came in for one round and won. Cool Dude Boy comes in for 1 round and wins, though we're yet to see if he'll come in again later this season. Of course, only 1 round down, 4 left. If somebody misses one, he could, of course, come in and drive there. We'll see, though. Bunnies comes home in 2nd, about 7/10 off the back of Cool Dude Boy. It's a strong result for the Canadian. He will have been looking for more, looking for his 2nd ever GTE win, but it wasn't to be on this occasion. The Canadian takes home 2nd, and of course on debut, Wendigo takes home 3rd, the Arc Raiders Ferrari, proving to be a very, very quick car. We will see what Wendigo can do throughout the rest of the season. I would put an early bet on him winning at least 1 race this season. He seems proper rapid. I don't think there's a clear-cut number 1 driver at Ferrari. Bunnies and Wendigo both very rapid, and frankly Timosius as well, but we'll get to him in a moment. As Aloe, a beautiful drive to put himself in 4th position, the Heinz Beans Volkswagen does a great job. Well done to you, Aloe. That was really a fantastic drive. Great to see. Tamo in 5th on debut, of course. The Red Bull Ferrari driver did a very good job, was right up at the front in the opening stint, dropped off a little bit more towards the end, but stayed in 5th for a very, very strong result. Ajax in 6th, should be happy with that result, I would say. The former FX champion and GTE race winner maybe will have been looking for a top 5, but 6th is quite strong on this grid nonetheless. And of course, he completes the 3 Volkswagens and 3 Ferraris in the top 6. Mauritius Tam, what a debut for him. 7th position, we saw him in battles with the reigning champions of both Formula X and GTE throughout the race. Well done to him on a strong debut for the Lithuanian driver. And of course, a difficult race for Silent Wolf. You don't generally win 4 out of 5 races one season, take the championship, and then expect to finish 8th in the first round of the following season. I think that shows two things. I think that shows that it was a difficult round for Silent Wolf, but I also think that shows the sheer quality of this grid. I mean, to have 7 people who are capable of beating Silent Wolf, one of historically SNL's best drivers. We've seen him win the opening couple exhibition events that we did on GT7 at the beginning of the game's lifespan in SNL. We saw him win in Austria. I admittedly didn't race in Daytona, so I don't actually remember who won Daytona. That might have been Matt Psycho, but I know he fought with Silent Wolf for the win there. Silent Wolf did win in Austria, though, in that exhibition race we did at the beginning of GT7's lifespan. He's won races throughout the history of GTE. He's always been quick, and last season in Season 10 he took his first championship. Finishing 8th is not going to be the result he wanted, but I think it'll encourage him to come back stronger. I don't think we've seen the last of Silent Wolf, and we know he's very strong at the Nordschleife, which is, of course, round 3. I can't wait to see how he does. Ben, reigning endurance champion, 9th position. Not quite what he will have been looking for, but GTE hasn't always been his strongest. He's won a couple of Formula X races, but he's never won in GTE. He'll be looking to move forwards next time, I think. Bloodraven, a strong return, and a welcome return as well. Always great to have the Canadian back. We'll see how he can do throughout the rest of the season. We saw lots of progression from him throughout Season 9. We'll see what kind of progression we can get from him throughout Season 11. Bloodraven will be one to watch. Punisher, 11th position. The Renault driver will be looking to move forwards. I think that can be said for everyone from here on out down the grid, but Punisher, I think a strong race at times. We saw him get a bit of damage early on, so maybe some accidents piling up a little bit, which is too bad, but we'll see how that goes. Rob on drums, 12th. We saw he had quite good pace. Couple accidents down at turn 1, though, may have costed him. Sarlacc, 13th, will be looking to move further up the grid, but for his first time back in SNL in many seasons, I think a 13th place can be excused. We know Sarlacc is quick. It'll just be a matter of when he's able to show it properly. Sutkus, on debut, 14th position. He'll be looking to try and join his fellow Lithuanians up towards the front of the grid soon enough. That means there are 4 Canadians on the grid and 4 Lithuanians on the grid, and probably, I think, 3 more non-British people. I don't know, well, okay, you know what? Never mind. We've got a mixture of nationalities. I just want to say that is fantastic for the diversity of this league. We have tons of people from different places around the world, and that is fantastic. Sutkus, debut, 14th position. We'll see what he can do next week. And Kaiser. Kaiser will be looking to move up the grid soon. We can see him there, just right behind Ajax's Volkswagen. Kaiser in 15th, and of course a DNF for Secret in 16th. But a quick reminder, your top 3, Cool Dude Boy, Bunnies, Wendigo. That has been the first race of 2026 for SNL, not just for GTE, but for SNL as a whole. Congratulations to our podium finishers. Congratulations to everybody who was able to make it through the race. What a drive from Cool Dude Boy to take victory. We don't know if we'll see him next week. He's a reserve. Well, we may very well see him next week, but we do not know. We should see Tiny Terror back in that car for next round. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to everybody who interacted in the chat. It has been a lovely time commentating on this race. And I can't wait for round 2, because this has just been So much fun. Thank you to everybody who watched, and goodbye.